Hi, it's Catherine. I'm here live on Facebook with Life After 50, What You Need to Know. And I'm really excited today because I'm going to be talking about a subject that so many families struggle with. You may have visited your parents over the holidays and noticed some changes, and you may be wondering if maybe it's time to have some difficult conversations. Today, we're going to be the topic is driving under the influence of aging. And it's for adults who are concerned about their older parent drivers. I'm here today with Sondra Wiendenfeld, and I think I got her name correct. Sondra is with Senior Driver Essentials is the name of her company. Sondra's trained to know how to approach and talk with older folks. She's been working in the elder care industry for over 15 years, and she's helped families through a variety of situations, I would imagine. Right, Sondra?
Yes, most definitely.
So you can learn more. You can get her full her full bio on the Find Houston Senior Care website. And I'll put that link in the comments section below for you. You can also visit her company at seniordriveressentials.com. And again, I'll put that link after the program is over. We'll put those links in the comment section so you'll have those and easily be able to access it. You might also want to join her Facebook page to get tips and ideas and all kinds of great information. She is a wealth of information. So, Sondra, a lot of families have visited over the holidays, from Thanksgiving to New Year's. Families have been coming in and visiting more with mom and dad, and they may have noticed some changes, and they may be concerned about some of those changes, and they may be worried, should they still be driving? What kinds of things do families need to look for, Sondra, to determine if maybe it's time to have that conversation?
Okay. Sure, Catherine. As a facilitator for Keeping Us Safe, the Enhanced Self-Assessment Program, some of the early warning signs that we find families talking to us about are more frequent dings on the car, bumps up against the curb, scrapes and scratches against the sides of the car or the garage door, the mailbox at a constant tilt, things of that nature.
That's a good one. Or the neighbor's mailbox at a constant tilt. Right. I found out that my mother-in-law kept backing into the neighbor's mailbox. And, so it wasn't necessarily her mailbox. It was the one across the street.
Right. Or it can be not so obvious clues like calls while out driving and maybe misdirections or not exactly knowing where they are. We get those kinds of calls too, where mom has called from downtown Houston, her daughter in Oklahoma City, and I'm not sure where I am. And so those can be some signs, of course.
That is scary. That is really scary. I had that happen as well with me. And that is just really scary when you're far away and you don't know what to do or how to help them. So, yeah, those are definitely red flags, right?
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Or sometimes it's the grandchildren not wanting to ride somewhere with grandmom or granddad, or friends always being the drivers. Nothing may necessarily be said, but there's certainly a distinct bias toward who's driving or not.
Oh, that's very good. I hadn't thought about that. So, Sondra, I know there's a lot of programs out there. AARP has stuff, and I think AAA has something. There's probably some others that I'm not aware of. How does what you do differ from what these programs have to offer? And are they good programs to use?
Right. Well, yes, Catherine, those are very tried and true programs. AARP and AAA are two of the stalwarts in the industry. There are others as well. The difference that sets our program aside from those programs is The AAA and AARP programs are more education-based, where they are teaching driving skills. They're teaching modifications, adaptations, and things like that about driving. Sometimes there are simulators, there's online courses, computers, a classroom setting where the driver goes to a common area and they may be in a classroom with 25 or 30 other people. The difference is Keeping Us Safe's enhanced self-assessment program is just that assessment in the senior driver's own home where they're most comfortable at their own kitchen table. There are no computers, there are no simulators, there are no buttons, switches, or graded tests. It is primarily a learning conversation with some driving exercises and self-assessments that I guide the senior through as a facilitator. And if they're able, about a 20-minute driving exercise where they take me to the places they are most comfortable going. The doctor's office, their local religious center, their senior center, the grocery store, and together, we determine the route they're going to take and where they're going to go. I'm not taking them out on the highway where they're uncomfortable. They will be selecting their own route. So our focus is building that trust through the learning conversation and working with the family as a team. And I'm a partner as a team, along with the adult children or other family members, with the senior driver and their spouse, if available, and other professionals if needed, such as a physician or a religious confidant or a peer that is well respected. We all work together as a team and provide resources and options at the end of the self-assessment as well.
Okay. All right. So how could somebody begin to have that conversation? I mean, it's so painful to think about. It really is. I mean, nobody wants to have that conversation with mom or dad. We just don't. It's uncomfortable, and we don't want to butt into their lives. And, and we're probably also, to be honest, we're scared of what then if they're not able to drive anymore. What are we going to do? How's mom going to get where she needs to go? And are we going to have to move her? And, we've got all these little things going on in our head over and over and over again. And how do you how do families start that?
Mm-hmm. Well, ideally, Catherine, we start that conversation as a series of mini conversations and it can start with things like just discussing recent accidents in the news. Mom, did you hear about the driver who drove up on the sidewalk that she thought was a turning lane? Or, how do you feel about that? How did you feel when you heard about that? Having those kinds of conversations. So it's an awareness top of mind over a period of time. Just like we don't instill values in our family in a 1-minute conversation, you don't do that at one time. It's over a period of time. And how we help with that is getting the conversation going a variety of ways. One, through the self-assessment program that we've been talking about, or also if a family has a really close dynamic and a strong bond within the family, we also offer a family empowerment session where I will coach family members on conversation techniques, conversation starters, and they in turn can go have that conversation with mom or dad if they feel like that's the best way to do it. Or a third method is we also offer a workbook where a family can actually go through a workbook and coach themselves through the conversations, the topics, backup data, demographic data, resources from the organizations like the Adult Agency on Aging or the Institute of Traffic, all those different things. We have that available in different levels, different areas, and different options for families.
And Sondra, is this a workbook that you have available on your website? Could somebody purchase it? How does it work? And tell us a little bit more about that workbook, because I understand you're going to be giving away some on the program today, right?
That's right. And the workbook is delivered to every home when I facilitate a self-assessment. Each family receives a workbook at that time for follow-up discussion or referencing. Secondly, they can go on my website and purchase a workbook. There's a link that takes them there, or they can call me and they can purchase it directly from me. And other times, if they see me at health fairs or other public events, then I typically will have workbooks available at that time too. So there's a lot of different ways to get the workbook, but certainly through my website is one way, or calling the office directly.
And another way to get that workbook is the next person to make a comment on this post. Right now, the next person to make that comment is going to get a free workbook. So go ahead and make some kind of comment in the below the Facebook post, and we'll give you that free workbook. Okay. Sure. So Sondra, we've talked about some of the warning signs. We've talked about the different kinds of programs that are out there and starting that conversation. So is that, well, that's obviously not the only tool you offer. You have the workbook and the private conversations and coaching and all, right?
And also an important aspect of the self-assessment is at the day's conclusion of the self-assessment, I sit down with driver and their children, and we talk about the day's findings. We talk about the senior driver's input. We talk about what some of my observations were and some of my recommendations. And then also we talk about what's the next step. Are we going to continue driving? Are we going to continue driving with modifications? Or will we make a formal decision to retire from driving? And with that, we have a document that we complete at that time. And then also within 10 days of the self-assessment, a very comprehensive summary report is prepared by me. There are no surprises in the summary report. By the time I leave that day, the senior driver knows what will be in the report. And so that summary report can be shared with other family members, and it's up to the senior to decide. They fill out a release of information, and it can be shared with other family members. It can be shared with a physician if the family wants a follow-up conversation, say with a neurologist or a family physician, to carry this conversation forward. It can be shared with religious leaders or other professionals, the attorney, the family attorney, financial advisor, any of those people that the senior driver has determined. They can share this summary report, and this can be utilized as an ongoing tool along with other aspects of the senior driving process. And then also at the conclusion of the self-assessment that day, I will provide resources for the family for alternative driving options specific to their area, and plans on how to put that in place. And that conversation.
What kinds of options are available in the Houston area?
Well, in the greater Houston area, you have some companies that partner with Uber that actually provide a concierge service, meaning that the senior driver does not have to be smartphone ready to take advantage of an Uber car. There is an operator that will help them call a driver and get them from point A to point B with the assistance of the adult child and the prepaid method, et cetera. And this keeps the family in the loop because it has a communication track as well. So the adult child will know when mom or dad are being picked up, when they're being dropped off at 2222 Medical Plaza Drive, when they're picked up at 2222 Medical Plaza Drive, and when they're returned home. So you have those types of services. Yeah. Then you have some nonprofit services, and those are very specific to certain counties and certain areas, but I have isolated those. And then there's also, of course, your traditional, Houston is lacking a little in metro bus services and things like that, but that can be used. And also, companies that provide non-medical caregiver services or at-home care also are a driving option as well. And then I also encourage families who have a volunteer network in place to utilize volunteers or friends from churches, from their bridge group, from their dance club, from their neighborhood settings to help them keep engaged in the activities that they're accustomed to going to. Then we work out a plan for that as well. And then, of course, adult children, of course, and grandchildren. As a matter of fact, one of the national programs that partners with Uber was actually founded by a grandson who had been helping with transportation needs for his mom. So there's not all options are 100% perfect, but we can put together a plan. And one of the nice things about it is some of our clients who have gone through this program have told us that has opened the doors for more social opportunities, because they are remembered when activities are going on in the area that somebody thinks about them, where they may not have driven at night or a rainy day, and somebody's thinking about them and making sure that they're part of the plan. And we had one family tell us after we participated in the self-assessment that they were going to make sure that any invitation that was issued to their parents, who were very socially plugged into their community, that any invitation also included the transportation plan as part of it. In other words, Mrs. Jones, we'd love for you to come over to our house for dinner on Tuesday night at 7:00. The Smiths and the Watsons will be joining us, and Mr. Dave will be picking you up at 6:30, and then he'll be taking you home after dinner as well. Very concrete.
That's great. Yeah, that's great. Didn't you tell me too about, I can't remember if it was you or somebody else I talked to that was talking about a lady that actually felt like her social life exploded after she stopped driving. So tell us about that.
She did, and this was in another state, but she told one of our self-assessment facilitators that she had kind of self-isolated herself in the latter years of driving because she was only driving on sunny days. She was only driving to 3 or 4 locations once or twice a week, not when it was raining. She wasn't going to events at night. And so she had already self-limited herself in a lot of different arenas. Then when she made the formal announcement to retire from driving and made that public among her friends and family and her social networks, once again, they were plugged into the fact that she had a need, and she was going more places, because when her neighbor would say, I'm running to the grocery store to pick up 3 or 4 things, do you want to go with me? She was ready and willing and able to jump in the car and go. And some of that is mindset. Are you going to take it as an opportunity, or are you going to take it as a deficit? And some of that just is within our own personal way we handle things. Will we turn that into a positive opportunity for us or not? And it takes a little coaching, and it takes a little developing at times.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing how seniors, when they want to, can be so resilient. And people, for the most part, I think most people want to help. We really do. We're helpers, all of us. And when we're given an opportunity and you tell a group at your church or whatever that mom is no longer driving, it's amazing the people that will step up to help. I know when my mother stopped driving, and she was a very social person, and she had been social all her life, and she had so many people that stepped up. This one wanted to take her here. This one wanted to take her there. She didn't lack for social interaction, that's for sure. And that was one of our big worries as a family. We didn't want her to get isolated, but like you said, she had probably been self-isolating. I don't doubt that one bit. That is a big issue, I think, with a lot of seniors. I saw that with my mother-in-law too. She had severe rheumatoid arthritis. It had gotten physically difficult for her to get around. She used a walker in the house, but by herself, she couldn't pick that walker up and put it in the trunk and get in her car. It was too hard. So she didn't go out a lot because she knew she'd have to leave her walker at home because she couldn't get it in and out of the trunk. So she really self-isolated. Mm-hmm. She was going to the grocery store for bare essentials when she absolutely had to. And so that was a real challenge until we brought in a home care company to help. And that made a huge difference. You know, Exactly. They were able to take her places if she wanted to go with them. But a lot of times she didn't want to go with them to the grocery store. She hated the grocery shopping, but she wanted to go see her friends. So they may drop her off at a friend's house, and then they go do the grocery shopping, bring the groceries home, put them up in the cabinet, and then go back and pick her up. And
Right.
that was awesome.
And maybe prepare a meal that they share together when she comes back.
Exactly. Because the thing is, too, not only was she at the stage where she was having a hard time, difficulty getting around and driving herself, but her friends were too. A lot of her friends were in the same situation she was.
Right.
Now, my mother, on the other hand, she was smart. She had young friends. And I highly recommend you get young friends.
I've lost the transmission, Catherine. If you're talking, my apologies.
There we go. I'm on. I don't see Sondra. Let's see, Sondra, maybe, I don't know, really, we're having some technical difficulties. So sorry. Again, if you didn't hear me before, Van Gilbert, you did win the book, and I'll make sure that Sondra gets that to you. Sondra, for some reason, you're frozen on the screen, so we can't chat anymore. Thank you for showing up at this program today. Hopefully we won't have these technical issues next week, and we'll talk again. Thanks.